in our society, between the age of early school years, say 7 or 8 or so, and the time of retirement, we are so heavily competitive and we so value intelligence that being mentally retarded or handicapped is a significant problem. But in younger years and also in older years, particularly those people whose mental handicap is only mild or moderate, their differences from other people are not nearly so noticeable.
We all have at least one thing in common. We're all getting older. As we do, we change. Our needs change. Our abilities change. We change physically and psychologically. In many ways, we all travel down the same road as we get older. And in all likelihood, most of us will need a little help in later life. Some of us will need assistance with transportation. Others will just need a friend with whom to share experiences along the way. Still others will need help with the physical and psychological challenges associated with aging.
Will you look over there at the wall, please? Look straight at the wall for me. That's good.
To help assure that elderly citizens of the United States have the services they need, in 1965, Congress passed the Older Americans Act. Its passage has resulted in the planning, funding, and administration of numerous programs throughout the nation designed to meet the unique needs of older Americans. Looking to the future, experts agree that the demand for these services will increase dramatically in coming years.
Well, it's very clear that older people represent by far the most rapidly growing segment of our society. The population has grown considerably in its old age component in this century, whereas around the turn of the century only about 5% of our population were aged 60 or 65 or older, and now it's about 12%, and it will reach 20%, or 1 in 5, in another 20 to 30 years. In particular, the population aged 85 and older is the most rapidly growing of any segment of our population and will double from about 2.5 to 5 million between now and the year 2000.
Recent amendments to the Older Americans Act have gone even further in strengthening the intent of the original legislation. United States Congressman Claude Pepper, a nationally known advocate for elderly persons, talks about the significance of the Older Americans Act to persons with developmental disabilities.
Now, we expanded that program from time to time, and in this present year, we expanded it also to just the physically disabled, or the socially needy, but the mentally disabled people who especially needed care. And they are beginning to receive care at the senior centers and other places where these people can be treated. The program renders assistance to them that tries to be meaningful to them in making their lives more profitable to them and more satisfactory. Now that includes trying to teach them how to do things, how to be useful contributors in our economy, in our society, to be meaningful figures in our country, give them a sense of importance, a sense of dignity, a sense of meaning. So that's a very meaningful program for a group which heretofore has been too much neglected.
My sunshine, my only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray.
For the most part, persons with developmental disabilities have the same needs and enjoy the same things as do other senior citizens. And as a result, throughout the nation, more and more senior centers have successfully integrated elderly persons with mental retardation into their regular programs and activities.
The directors of senior centers and nutrition sites have felt so, not burdened, but hampered, by low budget, really, there's just very little money allocated for all these senior programs. So that's kind of number one on their minds. They see more people coming in and they just, how am I going to, I'm only one person, and the feeling that a senior director who is not knowledgeable about retarded people is often, oh my goodness, this is going to take much more of my time than I have to give. I am spread so thin. I think that training and education of those senior center directors, as well as just trying it, you know, try it. It's not that hard. To see how well these individuals do fit into the program, how their needs are met along with everyone else's, how they do not require special care and attention, how in fact other members of the other participants will open up and assist them if they indeed do need assistance. Of course, what we find is that, you know, within a period of time, they are becoming the volunteers within the center. You know, they're contributing.
I'll get some more dirt. Get another cup.
The whole matter of friendships for retarded people is something that I think has been neglected in our planning. Too often, it seems to me, the decision is made as to what sounds good for the individual, but that may not be what is best for the friendships that have been developed. And I think if one early in the life of the retarded person is thinking about the kinds of environments that would encourage friendships, then when the individual becomes older and his own family is no longer in the picture, those friendships will be of great value to that retarded person. And I see no reason why retarded people don't need friends more, if not less, than non-retarded in our society.
One important and often overlooked benefit of integrating disabled persons into seniors programs is the relief provided families from the day-to-day responsibility of caring for older persons with disabilities.
What are you going to do tomorrow?
Leonard, Marion, and Teresa Barone are two brothers and a sister with mental retardation who live on their own in a house owned by their cousin Judy. Although Judy is able to support her cousins financially, she has her own family and restaurant business to take care of. As the result of their participation in the local seniors program, Judy's cousins have become close friends with George and Florence Crisson, who visit them regularly at their home. The friendship of the Crissons and the help they provide have helped Judy realize that she is not alone in caring for her disabled relatives. Equally important, the relationship has helped Leonard, Marion, and Teresa to continue to live on their own.
It's like a dream come true for me because, especially when my mom lost her sight, when they were growing up as young kids, it's something you just look away from because you keep thinking, well, what will happen to them in the future? What will happen? I used to dream of their parents dying. And back in those days, I mean, you just kind of put them away. They didn't do anything. And then my mother got the burden of it. Well, then she lost her sight. I became, terrified. And here they came. I mean, it's like the Lord sent them down. And it's been wonderful ever since. And I know now that together, all of us, they can maintain a very independent life.
We've learned that these people are just like any other people, and we became very good friends consequently. And we have a good, close feeling toward them, as I'm sure they do toward us.
It's like family. They become like a sister and brothers to us.
In addition to the support provided families, many non-disabled seniors have learned for themselves that persons with disabilities are like all of us in one important way. They are all different. Each has likes and dislikes. They may be good at doing one thing and not another. And most importantly, persons with disabilities enjoy the same pleasures we all do, including participating in social activities, learning new things, and making new friends.
It's a two-sided benefit. To the individual, has more contacts, has more experiences, has more choices. And on the same time, we have the non-handicapped person learning that the retarded person is a person. I love to use the Jewish word, they're a mensch. They have personality, they have likes, they joke, they have talents. And so we've demonstrated to the individuals in the centers that being retarded means You're limited in some of your experiences, but you're not limited as a person.
Yet another group of elderly persons with mental retardation needing senior services are those persons living together family style in community-based group homes. One such resident, Lottie Kozlowski, for many years worked in a sheltered workshop. Like most people her age, the day eventually came when Lottie wanted to quit working and start enjoying life a little bit more. Today, she attends a senior center where she chooses the things that she wants to do, participates in many interesting activities, and has made new friends.
Oh, we go to nutrition centers and other places for lunch. And
then we go to St. John's. We pay $1.25 to St. John's. We have good lunch there.
But sometimes we go to the library, and sometimes there's travel pictures, and we go to see those at the libraries. And sometimes we go for a ride. And a lot of times we visit my sister, who's kind of lonesome.
Most of the time we visit your sister.
And
she likes
and it does
very
my sister
much
a lot of
company.
good too. So it's
She's
really
very lonely, so
it's really a three-way thing.
Our sister Mary and us, how about going to Lillian's?
Lottie is a 76-year-old woman that is finally having the opportunity to have a friendship and a relationship with a person outside of a structured setting. In a lot of respects, Lottie's like a 15-year-old girl with her first friend, and she'll come and get her, and they'll go out to eat or they'll go shopping. And they visit Miriam's family quite a bit. Lottie really enjoys it. She's grown. And being able to experience a friendship, no matter how late in life, is one of the most important things that a person can have.
Although senior centers are effective in providing services for the majority of mentally retarded and non-disabled elderly persons, there are those individuals who, due to the severity of their impairments, are better served by adult daycare programs. These programs have proven effective in assisting persons with severe age-associated limitations or impairments, such as Alzheimer's disease and severe mental retardation. In some communities, adult daycare is provided by local mental retardation agencies. One example is St. Coletta's Alverno program in Jefferson, Wisconsin. Each day, seniors from the community, along with residents of Alverno, attend the Alverno Adult Daycare program.
We opened our adult daycare just over a year ago. It's unbelievable what has happened in that program. We see that our people who are coming in for adult daycare have those same needs to express themselves through craft activities, through sharing activities, through discussions, through going out into the community activities. What has happened is a lot of our people who come here for adult daycare have some degree of Alzheimer's disease. And obviously folks with Alzheimer's need to be stimulated, need to have interests in their lives, and their lives have been expanded both here and at home. It gives that respite, that time away for the family, that when the person is back at home, even if that person might send their individual here for respite for 3 days of the week, those are 3 days that they can use for themselves, even if they're not working, and taking care of the things they need to take care of, or be at home and be comfortable for a few hours.
Although there are advantages to using the services of either the Aging or the Developmental Disabilities Networks in meeting the needs of elderly persons, how to best link or integrate these services is being explored throughout the nation. New York State, which has one of the highest percentages of elderly persons and elderly persons with disabilities, is working hard to find ways that the Aging and Developmental Disabilities Networks can work together to provide cost-effective and appropriate services.
What we've tried to do is we held a major conference of bringing the two networks together, the Aging Network and the Mental Retardation Network, in a major conference to begin to break down some of those barriers and develop a kind of a common language and a common perception. And we continue to do that with joint programs with the Office for the Aging and ourselves, the Office of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities. So I think part of our effort here is to develop the kind of programs that where both of us can learn, that is the Aging Network and the Mental Retardation Network, because each of us have different capabilities, different expertise, and different kinds of perceptions of the nature of the problem. And the coming together is a whole lot better of approach, especially in government these days, than trying to have two different systems run in parallel, which could become very costly, and indeed we fail because we don't do good coordination.
Here are human beings who are valuable, who have the sanctity of their human personality, and even though they may have a disability, the fact is they should not be denied all the available nutritional services, recreational services, health services, medical services, whatever is necessary for their well-being and their state of consciousness has to be available to them. And so I think that all of us, who tend to be a little bit frightened because we don't know and we don't understand fully the personality traits of the disabled person, we tend to shy away out of fear, out of ignorance, and we have to break through that and recognize that we're dealing with another human being.
For 20 years, I have watched older special citizens make a great contribution in Special Olympics. The result has been new opportunities opened in the community for all of the elderly. It's true that people with learning problems may need more help, more discovery, but if we break down every task into smaller components and repeat them often, the rewards for everyone are great indeed. Older special people enjoy walking, singing, swimming, bowling, dancing, arts, all the activities older citizens enjoy. They respond with a warmth and delight that enlivens the programs in which they take part. They have memories, histories, stories, which they will generously share with the young, enriching their lives and understanding. But they are also ready to learn new things from others in their 70s and 80s. Robert Browning wrote, "Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be. Along with me is the most beautiful thought of all, for loneliness and exclusion are the curses of old age." By opening our programs, we are saying to all older people with special needs, come in. Only then will we fulfill Browning's promise that the best is yet to be.
We get a fish, huh? Be nice to catch a fish. You're playing with it.